Good morning, guys. So we are finally on the shore of Sitka. We just got off our ship. We're gonna catch our shuttle bus and then we're gonna visit the town. So we're now in Sitka, Alaska. This is our ship from the outside. Pin, stick around a minute. Pin. Come here. Yeah.
Lumabas kami sa parko dito.
Oh, pin.
Meron ng party dito sa
Dito tayo sa Norwegian Beach, ano?
sorry na lang sila, tayo may camera.
Yeah. Mas maganda pa nga yung camera mo sa camera nila. Mas maganda pa nga yung camera mo sa camera nila. Yung photographer on board. Crop line.
5,600 lang atin.
7,200, 7,500. Yeah. Oh, queue in sa kam.
Naghihintay natin mga ito.
Basta naghihintay lang na mag-spend ng money. Yeah. Ito paano na dadala sa economy na.
Ito si Senny, kanina umaga. Tayo sa breakfast. Sure.
Tapos,
Sabi niya, sa Savoy.
nag-try kami kanina nung sa buffet. Never do it again. Masyadong marami tao.
But anyway,
Mag-sit down na lang.
but anyway, hindi na nga. Ilagay po na, punta na kami sa Savoy para sa ito na dalawang yung kami ginawa, pumunta pa daw sa kasa. Dahil nagugutom na lang. Nagugutom na lang sila.
To the back, make yourself into a straight line this way, please. Okay. Just step this way a little bit. Okay, stop there. Please join on to the back of this line coming down. Just follow it.
Nakatulog sa restaurant. Nakatulog siya, hindi siya kumain ng dinner. Saan
Yes.
kayo kumain sa Savoy?
Hindi doon, naghihanap na ng
Nag-busay na kami kanina eh.
Bukas puro sit down na lang tayo.
Kasi Sandy pa sa hindi naman sa place. Bakit 10 minutes wait?
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
Sorry, good morning, you Alaskan adventurers.
Morning.
To Alaska. You have a smooth sail in?
So,
Oh, you've still got springtime waters out there, huh? How's the Bliss treating you, though? The Bliss is kind of like the crown jewel of NCL. There's bigger NCL ships, but the Bliss is supposed to be the best. Speaking of the Bliss, a couple things that you should keep in mind today. The Bliss is going to leave Sitka Sound at 5:30 today. That's your all aboard time. And then the last shuttle from downtown to the Bliss is going to be at 5 o'clock. Keep those two times in mind, because if headlines have taught us nothing lately, it is NCL will leave without you. And Sitka is a really nice place, but I think you probably want to see some of those other ports too. Now everything as we ride along today, scenery-wise, is going to be on the right-hand side of the coach. Looking out at all the beautiful out islands. You can look for some whales out there. We do have humpbacks and orcas in right now. Now my name is Jimmy. I'm going to be your driver, your guide, your hairdresser, your publicist, everything during this 5.7 miles that we drive into downtown Sitka. And they spoil you not only on that ship, but they take you to the most beautiful port to begin with. I lived in Skagway for many years. I've been all around Alaska and the Canadian Northwest. But I tell you what, Sitka is absolutely breathtaking. Every place you look, there's a great picture to take. Now, Sitka, of course, does not just have nature. It has a lot of history, too. The Tlinkits have lived on this island for over 10,000 years. The island is rich with hunting and fishing. That's why the Tlinkits have been here for so long. Westerners didn't really come along until the 18th century. It was in 1741 that the Russians first came here. And that was simply a merchant ship. They were here to trade pelts. You see, felt was all the rage in Europe for a few hundred years. Felt hats were so valuable in Europe, people would actually leave them in their wills as to who got their hat when they died. And felt comes from beaver pelts and sea otter pelts. See, the undercoat of those pelts is fine hairs. And if you take a pelt, you dry it out, and then you beat it with a stick, those fine hairs fall out. You use a little water and pressure and heat, and it creates felt. Now in Russia, that's where people traditionally got all the pelts. But the Russians had pretty much hunted beaver and sea otter to extinction. So they were kind of stuck to keep their business going, so they sailed east. And when they sailed into these Alaskan islands here in the southeast, they found grounds rich with pelts. And the Tlinkits, they've been trading pelts with the Spanish and the English for decades. And they welcomed the Russians. More business for them. But then, about 1790, the Russians started staying. Yeah, the Russians claimed this area in every place they had mapped as part of the Russian-American Trading Company. And about 4 miles behind us, they built a city called New Archangel. And the Tlinkits didn't like that. Tlingit chiefs saw them as competition, because now they weren't trading. They were hunting their own pelts, selling them, and keeping all the profits. So in 1802, he gathered a bunch of warriors, and they went over to New Archangel, and they burned it to the ground. Not only that, but they massacred everyone they could find. He was sending a message. You're welcome to come to Sitka to trade, but not to stay. And for a couple years, there were no Westerners on this island. But then in 1804, Captain Baranoff, to whom the island is named after, later to be known as Governor Baranoff, Well, he came back with a Russian man of war and some troops, and they went to where Sitka sits today, which is where the Tlinkits lived, and they bombed them into submission. And then they decided they're going to build their city right there. And that's where the city of Sitka has been ever since. That took about 30, 40 years for Tlinkits and Russians to learn to live together. But eventually they did. Sitka began to grow pretty well. Sitka became very influential in the Pacific Northwest. There still is a saying in Alaska today that as Sitka goes, so does Alaska. But of course, Sitka and Alaska didn't stay under Russian control. In 1867, the Russians sold Sitka to the United States for $7.2 million. They sold all of Alaska for that much. That's less than 2 pennies an acre. And if you go to Castle Hill, which is downtown, you can climb it. It's the best views from downtown is on Castle Hill. But you can stand right in the spot where they lowered the Russian flag and they raised the American flag. Now, in waters that are so rich with fishing and such good hunting, why in the world would the Russians want to sell this? And the truth is they didn't have a lot of choice. See, the Russians had just lost the Crimean War to the English and French. And they were very concerned that the English were just going to come out of Canada and take Alaska and make it part of Canada. The Russians hated the English. And then when Americans offered $7.2 million, well, it just so happens that $7.2 million was the amount of money Russia owed France in war reparations. So it became the best thing for Russia to sell Alaska to the United States. So on October 18th of 1867, that's when the exchange happened. Now, Sitka remained the capital here until 1906 when they moved it to Juneau. But it's still a very influential city here. Today, Sitka has about 8,000 folks. Number one business in this town is not tourism, it is fishing. The waters are still quite wealthy. We have canneries in this town. At any given moment, we have about 200 commercial fishing vessels anchored in any of our 4 harbors. This means that 8,000 people is pretty much the population of Sitka year-round. We're about 1.5 miles now from downtown. When we get downtown, I'm going to drop you off at Centennial Hall, which is pretty centrally located down there. Where I drop you off is the same spot that you will pick up shuttles to go back to the ship. And what time is the last shuttle?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are listening. Fantastic. At Centennial Hall, if you get off the coach, you go to the left. There's a beautiful walk around one of the harbors there. On the other side of that harbor is going to be places like the Rapture Center. The Rapture Center, not the Rapture Center, but the Rapture Center. 2 different places. One's very lonely. But there's also the Science Center over there, the Sheldon Jackson Museum, which is the oldest museum in all of Alaska. If you're interested in First Nation history, that's the museum to take in. And there's lots of hiking over there too. And if you go to the right, you go downtown. That's where all the shops and restaurants are. There's also a lot of history downtown. The old Russian Orthodox Cathedral is down there. Castle Hill, the Russian Cemetery. All kinds of great places down there. My suggestion is that when we get to Centennial Hall, you start off inside Centennial Hall. There's a great little history museum in there. Take you all of 20 minutes to walk through. But they also have restrooms. There's places to fill up your water bottles. And they have a visitor's desk, so they have maps. They can answer questions. If you're having lunch here, there are a lot of great restaurants here in Sitka. The best thing about being in Sitka, at least in my opinion, is that every penny you spend in this town stays in this town. Unlike most other ports, the cruise lines do not own a single business in Sitka. Sitka didn't want them to buy up all the shops and stores, so they passed an ordinance saying you must be a local to own a business here. So every penny you spend supports this town. As we go through this traffic light here, if you look to your right, you will look down straight at the Russian Orthodox Cathedral. Still is an Orthodox church. Orthodox Easter's coming up May 5th. That whole area down there will be decked out with decorations. The church itself is usually open from noon to 2 if you want to take a tour. That time, though, is usually up to the priests that are there. This is Centennial Hall on your left. When we get in here, I'm going to ask that you remain seated until I hop off and make sure that everything's secure for you. ATMs are over here on the right at the banks. Those will be the lowest fees you'll find. And then the library is right here as well. If you want to use some Wi-Fi, that's the best spot. Wi-Fi is pretty spotty in this town, but cell service is pretty good. If you're interested in going to Fortress of the Bear, I would look for one of these excursions here to give you a ride. It's quite a long hike to get to Fortress of the Bear, but hey, if you're a walker, probably nothing for you. But Fortress of the Bear is a pretty awesome spot too. All right, my friends, my name's Jimmy. Just give me about 2 minutes and we will unload. You'll be on your way.
Just have to have the long hike. Yeah, long hike. All the way up there?
Saan? Taas daw niya. Sorry. Magas daw.
Yes.
So we're just walking around town, Sitka. We're gonna be trying to look for the bus that will take us to the bear country. Gandang view.
gonna go to the church, and then we're gonna go get. Okay, let's go to the church then. Let's go.
They do like this.
I can't afford that. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go.
Magbabas ba? Puntang downtown?
Hindi, nilalakad na.
Ito din na yan. Okay.
So we're gonna have Victoria. We're gonna have the dinner. Hey. Gary.
Sabi mo sa kanya na
Your hair.
sabi mo sa kanya delicious. Sabi mo sa kanya kailangan na atakawin ko yung prutas ko dito dati baka
Hindi mo pwedeng balik yan.
live in the ship.
Hindi mo pwedeng balik yan sa ship.
Meron ka bang prutas dyan? Ha?
Ha?
May prutas ka pa dyan?
Wala na, binigay ko kayo kanina doon sa mga bata.
Makailin yung isa?
Yeah. Ano isa?
Mommy, want you to...
Tama na.
I can eat now. Get up. What? I feel so bad for the crab.
Okay. You want me to cut this too? Yes, please.
Having a surgery here.
Surgery.
Surgery. No Surgery.
We have a lot of French fries still.
There, we're queuing in already for the bus. Saan sila pupunta? Embassy. Basta. Ano kayo?
Everybody this side.
There's a dolphin. Dolphin.
There's dolphin. Dolphin. Yeah, dolphin.
Dolphin right there.
Yeah, dolphin. Yeah, dolphin. Go dolphin.
Ito lang harbor nila. I'll take you picture there, pa. Ganda, magandang background.
got the check. Good luck in getting in.
Hey, we're going back to the ship. We just walk around town, had lunch here in Sitka, and now we're heading back to the ship.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
We made it. We made it to Alaska.
He was undrafted.
Wait, did you get me to my Roblox account? That little bus. Whoa. Yeah. Hi.
That was Mr. That's the back, Jalen. 257. To the Jets. He's not going to be happy there.
Who's that? Who is that? I don't know. Who is that? Not really. Just a little bit. Mom was really worse. Mom was worse than me when I was sick. What? Mommy was more worse than Huh?
Everything is really
I can't.
shorter half his tides.
Mommy will find me and you're mad. Change it to a bacon. Do you even know what a You're a bacon. No, your avatar's called a bacon. Thank goodness I'm not there. I have one of the dinners I called it where I can eat my food. And Pop tried to put me in. So we put it. Now your schedule was why? You can't food. So only if you're not only if you don't have like a really big vessel. That will actually get your blood. And show me a picture. Why did
Sino sa kausap? Siguro.
a school day? My vacation? Will I be on a school day? So look at that big boat. Yeah, look at it. That's a big boat.